Death is a natural part of life. So at some point, all of us have been to a funeral home and have watched one of our loved ones, be laid to rest. But what actually goes into the process of getting someone prepared to be buried? Today, we're going to go behind the scenes at a funeral home to find out what it takes to get someone prepared for a funeral.
Death is a natural part of life, and it can happen at any time. That means funeral directors have to be on call 24/7, 365 days a year.
So 2 a.m., 3 in the afternoon, whenever that phone rings.
Eric Warmke is a funeral director at Miller Carlin Funeral Homes in St. Cloud. He says when they get a call from a family, they can show up in either a traditional-looking hearse or an SUV.
We have the option of going to a home with a hearse. We all have Yukon trucks that are fully equipped to have the same back end as a hearse.
Back at the funeral home, the body is placed in a cot and then brought into the prep room for embalming. He says the embalming process only takes about an hour, and it's just a small part of the entire funeral process.
The prep work, the cosmetics, the casketing of an individual, that takes about an hour. We spend the next 2 days putting a service together.
Funeral directors are licensed to take care of everything from embalming to dressing the body to applying the makeup.
Facial features, full cosmetics, that type of a thing, that is something a funeral director will do.
Another option is cremation, which Warmke says is becoming a more and more popular option.
There are more cremations, more memorial services, but we do see a lot more where we'll still have a viewing, we'll still have a visitation, and then it could be followed by a cremation.
A cremation happens in a retort room where they heat brick walls up to 1,650 degrees. The process takes about 3 hours, and what's left is calcium deposit, which is then processed into a fine powder. And as for the funeral service itself, Warmke says there's no such thing as a typical service anymore, and personalizing the service to each person is quite common.
We can wheel in their Harley or whatever they want up in the front. That's what we're going to do.
Jim Maurice, WJON News.